Viewers and subscribers, welcome back to another wonderful episode of the Bourbon Jamaican. You got Brady the Great and yours truly, and today we got another wonderful rabbit out of the hat. We got the Bardstown Discovery Series 11 and 12, and we've done a couple different Bardstown in the past. We actually dropped one a couple weeks ago. We did the Four Square Rum Finish Series.
We did the Weeded Origin.
The Weeded Origin?
Yeah.
Well, did I try the...
you tried the Four Square one.
I tried it. Do we haven't done a video with that?
No, we don't.
Ryan Estes, please save a couple drops. We'll be coming over to do the Four Squares Rum Finish. But without further ado, I'll let Brady enlighten us on these, because these were courtesy of Brady the Great.
Yeah, so Discovery Series, for those of you that don't know, is a line that Bardstown Bourbon Company does. They release one or two of them a year, and it's stocks of barrels that they source. What's really nice about it though is they tell you the state, the mash bill, and the percent of the blend in it. So they won't tell you where it comes from, but they'll tell you, they'll say, hey, 75% of this bottle has this mash bill. So if you do your research, you can find out where they're from. So Discovery 11 is 118 proof. It's 73% Wild Turkey 13 year.
Ooh.
The rest of the blend is it's either Elijah Craig or Jim Beam, I can't remember. And then with the new Discovery 12, it's Elijah Craig, Jim Beam, and 48% Wild Turkey, but it's 14 years, so it's a year older. A little less of the percentage, but a year older. And it's 3 proof lower at 115 proof. These both MSRP at $140. The Discovery 11 and 10 are almost a year old now, and they're both still on shelves. So they decided they were going to make the quality of 12 a little higher and decrease the bottle count. So 12 is going to be pretty sought after this year.
Oh, wow.
I was at the distillery the day it dropped, and was able to get one.
You should have got a backup.
I may have. But I loved the 11 last year, and a lot of my friends really liked the 11, and we got the 12 and we were pretty blown away. But now that it's had 2 weeks of airtime, I'm curious how it's changed, and thought it'd be a good comparison since you haven't had these before.
Well, the 11 looked like it got some action. It's a good...
The 11, I've done some damage on.
A good 4 or 5 ounces lower than the 12.
Oh yeah, I've had the 11 a lot longer than the 12 though. So,
yeah.
So this is the 11.
This one's hot. What's the proof on these?
118.
This one came in hot. It kind of tickled my nose a little bit.
I get a lot of vanilla.
Yes, I think, is this an ounce or a half ounce?
It's a half.
It don't look like it, man. I tried to measure it up. I think you gave me some heavy.
It's a half.
A heavy pour on
we
these.
got halves. We all got halves. All right.
I always give them shit because they'll do ounce, and I always ask for a half ounce, especially if we're doing multiple tastings. I try to make sure I pace myself and try to keep it at a limit. But
so 11's pretty sweet on the nose. On the palate, it's fruity.
ooh.
Get some nice berry, and I get some vanilla and some chocolate and some oak.
You ever had that berry frosty from Wendy's this year?
Not yet.
It's probably gone now off the menu, but they had it. They had the orange sickle, and then they came out with the berry. That's the taste like every berry that they probably could throw together, from blueberry, raspberry, blackberry.
Oh yeah.
It is very fruity and delicious.
The one complaint I have about this every single time I go back to it, I love the front of the palate on this. I don't like the finish. So it's 6%. The last 6% of that blend is Bardstown Bourbon Company's own 6 year, but they French oak finished it. And it's giving me, I always get a floral.
A little bit of French oak.
I always get a floral note on everything that's French oak finished. And I didn't think I'd be able to taste it with it being 6% of the bottle. But that's the only thing I get in the finish. Yeah. It is so, it's so fruity and jammy up front. And then the longer it sits on my tongue, the more floral it gets. And it's really disappointing.
It's almost like a a bitter aftertaste almost.
Yes.
Like now I'm starting to get like on the back end, I'm getting a bit of the burn is still there, but on my tongue, like I'm tasting it, but it's like a bitter aftertaste, like almost like a grape, like a sugar-free grape soda or grape Kool-Aid, where you just get that like that powdery, dry fruit.
I could see that sugar-free soda kind of taste. It turns that little dry and bitter. Because this one's giving me that little tingle, that tingly carbonated feeling like we were getting in the last video. That little effervescence on the tip of my tongue. Now, brace yourself for 12. It's going to be completely different.
I know, I try to cleanse my palate there.
Yeah.
And make sure I'm getting the full effect.
Yeah, I'm giving myself some time to get this floral taste out of my mouth, but I'm ready to nose 12.
Yeah.
I love that nose.
A little subtle. It's subtle.
Yeah, you do have to search a little bit, but I get that dusty quality on it. And I get some really nice caramel. It's got like this rich caramel toffee note to it, and then I get that dusty basement attic kind of thing.
Which one has the more proof?
The first glass.
So that's why this doesn't have as much ethanol. You don't get too much burn on the nose.
This one has older whiskey in it, and it's 3 proof lower.
So older whiskey means it's pretty cured, and it has. They say that has that 13-year wild turkey.
This is 14-year wild turkey. The last one was the 13, but this one also has some 10-year. It has 10-year Elijah Craig and 10-year Jim Beam in it also.
Interesting. So let's go for it. Ooh, yeah, it's crazy. So this one gave me a little more tingle in the nose when I breathe. It's not as fruity, but you all right. You get a little bit of that brown sugar.
This one is a lot sweeter,
but it's welcoming though.
Yes.
It's warm, and it's something that you definitely can. Somebody new, even though it said it's an older bourbon, you think with the high proof, it's something you definitely can introduce to somebody that's new, and for the price, it's not that bad.
Yeah, 140 is a little high, but this is, I mean, the 115 proof, it's not hitting me like 115. That last one was 118 and it hit like it was 120, which I don't mind. I know that bothers you a little bit, but I love the uniqueness of this one. It's sweet, but the only, like right now in the back of my throat, I get that dusty, like I feel like I just drank a vintage. Yeah. Like I went to Revival or a place like that and I drank something from the 80s. It leaves that aftertaste in the back of my mouth, and I really like that because you can't get anything like that anymore. You know what I mean?
Like a well-cured, preserved bottle, like, you know, it's been sitting in the barrel for some time and they just try to, probably with the mixing and the blending of the older bourbon, you do get a complex kind of taste. And surprisingly for me, it completely took away that grape kind of fruity berry taste from glass one. I drank glass one pretty fast because I just wanted to get it over with. But this one, like even now, I'm still tasting like.
Have you had a second sip yet? A glass two. Second sip, it gets fruitier.
That's right.
It's different than glass one though, where glass one was so dark in a fruit that, like you were saying, it's grapey. This one to me is like more of like a strawberry. It's a lighter fruit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you taste it and then it kind of goes away. It doesn't hang around long, but it gives it a little bit of a creamy and fruity, juicy kind of feel. Maybe a little bit of citrus too, like a little bit of an orange peel. It almost tastes to me like a barrel aged old fashioned.
Yeah, I'm getting.
But from like the 80s.
I'm getting a little bit of nut on this one too. Just a tad bit of nut, not too much.
It's interesting. But I mean, that's a great bottle though when you keep going back and getting different notes. It is ever evolving. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That is an interesting pour.
But it has great legs too.
Oh yeah.
But if you've made it this far in the video, man, go ahead. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We're always coming up with new stuff, and we try to give you our raw and uncut and unfiltered opinion on whatever bourbons we're trying, whether it be for the 5th time or the 1st time.
So, which glass do you like better?
This one.
2?
Yeah.
I agree. Would you pay $140 for it?
Depends. If I had...
I did, and I don't regret it.
If I had an option where it was something else that I really do enjoy, I would go for it. But if that's the only option, I'd definitely go for it. I'm pretty picky and particular.
I wish this had a little bit more proof, like 5 more proof.
Yeah.
I think that would help it. But I will say though, like that's why I liked it so much. I ended up going back the next day and getting another one because I love that I had 3 sips out of this glass. And it's gone now, but in 3 sips, I was able to name a different tasting note or 2 every single sip.
Yeah.
To the point where like what I was getting on sip 1, I wasn't even getting that on sip 3 anymore. It almost tasted like a different whiskey.
Yeah.
And that's really, really cool to me, and that is hard to find.
Sip 1, it's saying sip 1. So glass 1 almost gave me, after we drank that Starlight,
The blackberry.
the blackberry, it gave me that same kind of aftertaste versus like the Crown blackberry was just, was creamy and just everything that Crown brings. Crown always hit the spot, but at a low proof. But it gave me that Starlight kind of finish.
Yeah.
But not as berry, but it still gave that finish. But for me, glass number 2, so that'll be the 12.
Yes.
Is my go-to.
Cool.
But I hope y'all enjoy this. And Brady, thank you for blessing the channel with these wonderful bottles, man. I really appreciate it. And again, new to the channel, drop something in the comment if you've had these. Tell us which one is your favorite, if you've had either or both.
And let us know if you plan on looking for the 12 and what your thoughts were on 11.
Yeah, but definitely I would say 12 would be my go-to. And I think Brady agrees. He's probably going to go back for another one if he gets the chance.
Budget's blown.
Yeah. Alright guys, well thanks for watching, and I hope y'all enjoy this video. Come back and see us.